Hey there Win.GG viewers, and welcome to another League of Legends video. In today's video, we'll be discussing a possible event that could be the main world event for League of Legends in 2022. Before we get into all the details, remember to subscribe to Win.GG, like the video, and stay tuned for more upcoming League of Legends content. The big question is Riot planning a Void invasion in League of Legends for 2022? The answer appears to be yes. There's lots of signs pointing to the Void increasing its activity on Runeterra and starting to pick up the slack as the main world-threatening antagonist now that Viego and the Ruination and the Black Mist have mostly been dealt with. Up until last year, the Ruined King and the threat of the Black Mist was really the main existential threat on Runeterra. But with Viego chained and the Black Mist back under control for the most part, what's next? What's the next threat to unite Runeterra's heroes and bring together a stirring narrative where fans can watch their favorite champions fight side by side? The answer seems to be the Void. In the Call cinematic, which was released at the start of the season, there's a lot of lore in the stories behind the video that seem to point towards the Void starting to take more of an active role in Runeterra, at least this year. With Taliyah and Kai'Sa in Shurima, it's pretty obvious. A Void Rift has opened up under the town of Zolan, and members of the Xersai, Rek'Sai's brood, and other Void creatures have sprung out and murdered the inhabitants of the town. Taliyah and Kai'Sa come across the ruined town, encounter the Xersai, then Rek'Sai, and Kai'Sa manages to taunt Rek'Sai by firing a full barrage of missiles into her, and then diving back down the hole that Rek'Sai emerged from. It seems like Kai'Sa is luring Rek'Sai back to the Void, so we may see them show up through a different Void portal, Avengers Endgame style, later on in the event. At the same time, there's been an increased focus on Pantheon, and while the Targonians might not seem directly associated with the Void, there are some important connections. The previous incarnation of Pantheon was the one to control Aurelion Sol, Aurelion Sol being an incredibly powerful star dragon that the Targonians have bound by the use of a magical crown. Aurelion Sol is one of few entities still alive on Runeterra that could theoretically close a Void Rift, so when we see Pantheon jumping off into the stars at the end of that video, it's possible that he's going to track down a star dragon in order to use it for the betterment of Runeterra. Finally, Sejuani and Olaf going in search of the Cauldron of Ornn brings them closer and closer to the Howling Abyss, the place where Lysandra froze the Horrifying Watchers, which are Void creatures that once tried to take over Runeterra from the Freljord, in the Howling Abyss. Yes, that Howling Abyss, the map you play ARAM on. There's been additional hints that might point towards this. The return of Star Guardians also makes it increasingly likely that we might see a PvE Void-focused event. The previous Star Guardians PvE event did involve you fighting all sorts of Void creatures, so it makes sense to bring some variation of that back along with Star Guardians as well as a Void event. We've seen this image leaked for the upcoming jungler, which is expected to be sort of a Void Hive Queen that summons smaller Void creatures to do battle for her, and if that's the case, it would make a ton of sense to tie in the arrival of the Void Hive Queen with some sort of Void invasion event on Runeterra. Finally, we had this happen during the Season 2022 announcement where designer Reeve seemed to get hijacked by the Void itself in order to preface their upcoming jungler.
Support, we...
I see it. I see everything. The Lavender Sea. Purple cities cover the land. She rules over it all. My Empress. This is what Runeterra should be, its true form. The city of Bel'Veth shall fall first. Beautiful Remora swimming endlessly through cities of lavender, overwhelming everything in her path, consuming us. We are all saved.
Where am I?
With the upcoming Void jungler confirmed to be a she and described as the Empress, it's seeming incredibly likely that the Void is going to take a major step forward on Runeterra, and that stories like the Feast of the Prophet, the Faceless God, Dead of Winter, and Hollowspun are all pointing towards the Void slowly increasing its activities in Shurima. I think we'll see something along the lines of the Ruination event that we had last year, but hopefully a little bit better executed. It seems like the Call cinematic might be hyping up Ornn to be the one forging the weapons for all of these various heroes across Runeterra who will have to unite against the Void, and with Sejuani and Olaf getting closer and closer to Ornn's domain, there might be some crossover there. With the possible return of a PvE mode, a new champion, and some pretty big strides forwards in the lore, we could see the Void devour or destroy portions of Runeterra that we've gotten used to just being there. Now, Riot will probably want to do something on the scale of the Ruination with this Void invasion, but hopefully they'll execute it a little better. The last event was pretty controversial among fans and the story didn't go over very well. However, if the quality of the short stories, the cinematic, and the other teases that they're doing is anything to go off of, this event could be pretty awesome. What do you think? Are you most excited for the possibility of a PvE game mode, the new Void Jungler, or something else that might be associated with this event? Might you see your favorite champion in a cinematic or a short story battling against the darkest beings of this other dimension? Let us know in the comment section below, and as always, stay tuned to win.gg, and have a lovely day.